Build your legs with this simple workout that requires nothing but a pair of dumbbells. I've seen this request floating around on YouTube Fitness across multiple different channels, so I figured I would answer the call here for you guys. And if you find the video helpful, please remember to hit the like button, leave a friendly comment down below, and share the video with somebody who you think might benefit from it. So for the workout, we're going to kick things off with something explosive to keep you sharp. Then we're going to trash the quads with a pairing of 2 knee dominant exercises, one unilateral and one bilateral. Then we're going to crush the posterior chain with some hip dominant work, and finally we're going to finish things up by smashing that ass with a little bit of thrusting. And I'll provide set, rep, and loading recommendations as we move into each phase of the workout, as well as a few important caveats at the end of the video here, so be sure to stick around for the whole thing. So let's check out the first phase of the workout. Now it's me, so you already knew I was going to include some kind of explosive movement into the workout. I can't not do that. It basically goes against my religion. Explosive work cranks up the nervous system, man. It's like a supercharger on a battery. It gets you juiced up to 100% very quickly, and it teaches your body to stay sharp and aggressive. So here, with nothing but a pair of dumbbells at our disposal, our options will be somewhat limited, but we can still get in some pretty damn good work in spite of that. My favorite exercise in a time like this is the one-arm dumbbell power snatch, but you can also do this as a one-arm swing, where you swing the bell all the way up overhead, similar to a dumbbell power snatch, but you let the bell loop out in front of you in a swing pattern, rather than pull it straight up in a snatch pattern. Another choice here would be a 2-arm dumbbell swing. In this case, I would aim for pulling the dumbbells right up to about chest height and firing these reps off rhythmically. No matter which movement you choose here, be sure that you have either fixed dumbbells to use or that you have very secure collars. On my one-arm swings here, I have the Warm Body Cold Mind Pro collars, and those keep my plates securely in place. They're very good collars. They never slip at all, even on explosive work like this. If you want to check them out, I've got my affiliate link down below in the description. But either way, be sure to use snug collars. The last thing you want is for the plates to be flying off the dumbbells while you're doing these explosive exercises. And if you want to skip the technical aspects altogether for this slot, then you can just stick with a lightly loaded jump squat exercise instead. For that, hold the bells locked at your sides, dip down to the bottom of your jump, pause for 2 to 3 seconds in the bottom position, and then explode up into the air as high as possible. Stick the landing, then reset and get ready for the next rep. No matter what exercise you choose for this slot, you're going to want to stick with 4 to 6 sets of 4 to 6 reps. The exception being the 2-arm swing. You could bump that one up a little bit higher since it's a rhythmic style movement and go with 8 to 12 reps there instead. But the rest of the movements are 4 to 6 reps per set. Always focus on maximal intent and maximal aggression when you're doing explosive work. Every rep should be done as forcefully and powerfully as possible. So be sure to warm up the muscles and joints thoroughly before you get started here, and be sure to ramp up the weight on the chosen exercise accordingly so that your body is ready to rock by the time you get to the working weight. In general here, you're going to want to stick with a weight that is challenging but comfortable. So I would recommend using something you could get for about 10 clean reps with the goal of doing 4 to 6 reps, explosive reps per set. Rest 2 to 3 minutes between sets and go balls out when it's go time. Now it's time to trash those quads. Here, we're going to use a nifty little superset where we take advantage of the fact that we have 2 legs and that we can easily shift from working one leg at a time to working both legs at the same time. So what we're going to do here is start with a lunge and then move into a goblet squat. The lunge will be a reverse lunge done off of a large deficit. I like a deficit of anywhere from 4 to 6 inches for this exercise for a big range of motion. Allow the knee on the trail leg to kiss the ground and then explode back to the top. Start with the non-dominant leg for this exercise and then move immediately into the dominant leg after that. Do 10 to 12 reps per leg with a weight that you know you could get for 15 plus reps on the non-dominant leg. Now, you can find the non-dominant leg by looking to the dominant arm. Since the body works in a crisscross X pattern, the dominant leg will likely be the leg opposite the dominant arm. So if you're right-handed, your left leg is likely your dominant leg, meaning your right leg is likely your non-dominant leg. You can also line up like you're about to take off into a sprint. The leg that you naturally choose to put forward for this is likely to be the dominant leg, and the trail leg is likely to be the non-dominant leg. After the lunges, you'll move immediately into the goblet squat. For the goblet squat, I like elevating the heels to really increase the range of motion at the knees specifically, which is really what we're going for here. Now, if you find this uncomfortable, then don't do it. but if it doesn't bother your knees, then I recommend doing it this way. I'm using a slant board here from the Tib Bar Guy for this exercise. If you're interested in one for yourself, you can find a link for it in the description down below, along with a 10% off discount code. For this exercise, you're gonna hold the bell snug to your chest, and you're gonna crank out sets of 15 to 20 reps in a piston-like fashion using a challenging but manageable weight. Control that descent, go for full depth, and then explode back to the top. And remember, your legs will already be pretty tired from the lunges right beforehand going into this movement, so that's going to reduce the amount of weight that you need to use here. So just don't go nuts with the loading. Challenge yourself, but keep it clean and really focus on just getting the muscles in the legs fatigued. You can perform 2 to 3 rounds of this superset in total, resting 2 to 3 minutes between rounds. Next up is the hip dominant work. Here we use the same concept as the knee dominant work. Start with a unilateral and then move immediately into a bilateral. For the unilateral here, we're going to do a one leg RDL with hand support from the free arm. So for this, you should again start with the non-dominant leg, pick up a heavy dumbbell in the same arm as the side of the working leg, aka the ipsilateral side, and then grab onto a sturdy object with the free arm. From here, simply perform a standard one leg RDL. You should not actively be pulling or really even grabbing very strongly with the free arm. Instead, you should use it solely to remove the balance component from the movement. By using the free arm to help stabilize on this exercise, you can really load up the weight and get a very, very good strength and hypertrophy stimulus in the posterior chain. Here, you'll do 12 to 15 reps per leg with a weight that you're confident you could get for 15 to 20 reps. After you've done both legs, you'll move immediately into the next exercise in the superset, which is just a bilateral dumbbell RDL. I like dumbbell RDLs because they let you keep the weight closer to the hips compared to a barbell, and they really let you hone in on the hamstrings specifically because of this. To take advantage of this aspect, simply perform the reps piston style without locking out all the way at the top onto the glutes. I shudder to say this, but we're gonna keep constant tension on the hamstrings, essentially. I keep the knees bent only minimally here, and I focus on pushing the hips back as far behind me as possible, trying to touch my butt onto an imaginary wall behind me. Lower the weights under control, get a big stretch in the hammies, and then explode back to the top. Do 15 to 20 reps per set here with a challenging weight, and perform 2 to 3 rounds of this superset in total with 2 to 3 minutes rest between rounds. And finally, we wrap it up with some glute dominant hip work to finish things off strong. Here we'll use a unilateral hip thrust followed by a bilateral hip thrust. Same set, rep, and weight guidelines as the other exercise. 12 to 15 reps per leg on the unilateral version, and 15 to 20 reps on the bilateral version. For the unilateral version, I like this semi-straight leg hip thrust right now. You still get a hell of a lot of glute engagement with this, but you also get the added bonus of really working the hamstring tendons on the back side of the knee there. So give that one a shot if you're feeling frisky. Otherwise, a plain old unilateral hip thrust will do for this exercise here. You don't need much weight at all for this one, guys, so keep it conservative and keep the reps clean. With the bilateral version, loading using a dumbbell can be a bit awkward, but you can still make it work. To alleviate this issue, just make sure to create plenty of fatigue in the muscles beforehand using the unilateral exercise. So for that, you can even go so far as to bumping that movement up to 15 to 20 reps per set if you have the strength to do so cleanly. As well, add in a 2 to 3 second pause at the top in the fully contracted position of the bilateral hip thrust. Punch the hips up high, don't overextend the lower back, and squeeze the glutes as hard as possible for 2 to 3 seconds. With these additional parameters in place, you won't need an excessive amount of weight for even that 2-leg hip thrust. Perform 2 to 3 rounds of this superset in total with 2 to 3 minutes rest between rounds. And that wraps up the workout, guys. It should take you probably around 75 minutes to get through all this work if you're moving at a decent pace, maybe 90 minutes if you're feeling a bit sluggish, not too crazy either way. Now, the caveats I mentioned in the beginning. It's important to note that this isn't really a strength program, right? It's kind of pretty obvious, but it does need to be stated. You can only do so much here in terms of force production with just a pair of dumbbells at your disposal. But where they really start to shine is with this higher rep, hypertrophy oriented work. So you could definitely use a plan like this and have it contribute to some very solid muscle gains in the legs and glutes. In terms of the utility of something like this, it's not gonna be something that you would do week in and week out indefinitely. I mean, you could, but it won't really be optimal. Again, there's only so much wiggle room here in terms of increasing the loading. So eventually you're gonna run out of ways to progress, right? Now, if you have adjustable dumbbells and plenty of free plates, that will go a long way towards extending the lifespan of this program and allowing it to work for you for a moderate length of time. But even then, you really wouldn't want to focus on this as your sole leg program for more than just a few months tops. Really, this workout is going to shine most brightly when you're in a pinch, when you need to blow off some steam, or when you just want to get in a 1-off or a 2-off or a 3-off training effect, right? Something short term to help stimulate some growth and push you in the right direction so that you don't lose a step where you might otherwise lose one, right? Never let perfect become the enemy of good. Think holidays or traveling for work, right? That sort of thing, where you may not have access to all the best and fanciest equipment for a period of time. That happens to all of us at varying points in time throughout the year, right? But you go out, you get the job done anyway. And this workout here will do a very good job of filling that void for you. It's something that I have done when in a pinch myself on many occasions, particularly in not very well stocked hotel gyms. Anyway, that wraps it up, guys. I hope you find this quick little plan to be helpful, and I hope it helps to keep you sharp the next time that you're in a pinch and you need to get in a good workout for the sake of the old wheels. Please remember to hit the like button and leave me some love in the comments before you go. Check out OnCureEliteFitness.com for online coaching and training programs, and as always, keep training hard. I will catch you guys next time.